From wounded to empowered, a guided experience to live better with your emotions with intuitive writing by Amandine Mas. Introduction. Prepare yourself, dear listener, because at the end of this short introduction, I'll ask you 4 questions to prepare you for the journey that we'll make together in the next chapters. So, I invite you to get your notebook ready. We're gonna start now. Society has conditioned us to remain in our comfort zone. But what are we missing outside? My life before my reconnection through writing? A golden cage, ready to explode. Having suffered emotional abuse in my early childhood and having evolved in an overly anxious family, I find myself in adolescence faced with 2 choices of social mask. The mask of the victim, to lock myself in the vicious circle of depression and drama, and the mask of the warrior, to lock up my fears and anger deep inside me. I choose the second option when my mother plunges into a long and severe depression and lets herself go to some suicide attempts. At the end of 18, I finally decide to run away from home to save my skin, to discover the world, and to learn to live despite my intense emotional turmoil that devours me. By choosing the mask of the warrior, I begin to build my golden cage by focusing all my energy in getting a good job and the freedom to travel, which is an invalid place to be in our society, right? It's in fact a false freedom. In reality, I'm sinking into another downward spiral, that of unconscious anxiety. And in your opinion, what is unconscious anxiety? For me, it's a repressed anxiety which we hide for years and which no one sees, not even ourselves. And like you perhaps, I realized today at the end of 39 that I have always been anxious since childhood, but that I didn't know it. But what I've learned from that realization is that when anxiety becomes conscious, the golden cage starts to scramble. 2017, the fall, the collapse, and the 3 Bs. It can't go on any longer. 3 years after having passed the decisive age of 30, I fall. After having thought against myself and resisting the multiple messages of my intuition, I face a point of no return, brought on by a triple shock that I call the 3 Bs. My first professional burnout, my second financial bankruptcy, and my first love breakup. I lose all my bearings. I don't know what to do. My world is collapsing. I have to change, to start all over again, but everything really changes on an October's evening in a boho wine bar in the 1st district of Lyon, France. I'm sitting opposite my friend Riquet, a glass of pricey South African wine in my hand. It's such a common scene that I don't suspect anything of what is to come. I'm 33 years old and I'm single for the first time of my life. The upside is that it frees me to get my career off the ground, finally. I have now checked all the boxes to become a successful and single woman before 40 when Rike innocently asked me a question that awakens my innermost depths. Amandine, what do you think about celebrating the new year on an island in Thailand? My body and my brain freeze. Something new starts to emerge from inside me. It's like I'm waking up from a very long sleep, like I'm coming out of a coma. And in a quarter of a second, I answer him. Rike, if I go to Thailand with you for the new year, I'll stay there. I'll never come back. Asia is knocking on my door again. 5 years after my last trip, which changed my life. 5 years after an unforgettable 1-year journey by bicycle to make a documentary in schools in Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. 5 years after having resigned myself to returning to Europe due to emotional and financial dependencies. But this time, I have no more excuses not to follow this momentum of my heart. I have to go back and stay there. Although I can't explain it, it's obvious to me. 2 months after, in December 2017, I returned the key to my loft in Lyon and fly to Bangkok. The adventure can start again where it had stopped 5 years before. Everything starts after a Thai massage. On December 27th, 2017, we arrived with Rike and 2 other friends in Krabi, Thailand. It's a very Disneylandized seaside town. We are ready to zip into 2018, a year that promises new and exciting possibilities. And as soon as I arrive on Thai soil, I immediately take my bearings. I haven't forgotten anything about this country that I cycled around 5 years earlier. I haven't forgotten this beautiful country that I discovered at the age of 19 during my very first trip to Asia. I always knew that I had a special relationship with this special culture, as if I had lived there in a past life. I've always felt welcomed by people, as if we understand each other without even speaking the same language. Something happens in my body beyond the mind and the intellect. I will understand a little later that I am connected by heart to this country and that these people are helping me heal my heart wounds from the past. And while I'm delighted to rediscover this feeling of joy which has inhabited me since I was a teenager, I am preparing for the festivities on the Shopi beach of Krabi, and there I'm crossed by another feeling that I had suppressed since my last trips to Thailand. I suddenly remember how Thailand emits two different types of energy. A very feminine energy of gentleness, slowness, care, and spirituality, and a very masculine energy of excessive tourism, a search for profit at all costs, an exploitation of resources and people, a violence. For a reason that is still unknown to me, I am once again stuck very hard in my body by this double reality of a country that I love so much. I am both enchanted to be back in the land of smile and angry at the lack of humanity inflicted of this land and its people. Before partying all night with my friends, I decided to treat myself to a 2-hour massage because I know my mind is so restless and controlling that 1 hour is not enough to relax all my tensions. Can you relate, dear listener? This massage turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life. During this magical massage, I explored a lot of emotional locks that have prevented me from moving to the next level in my life. I am now able to receive an extremely strong message from my intuition, which tells me very clearly, Amandine, you will stay here. You will live in Thailand. What? I am both scared to death and moved to tears by the message. This message directly from my inner world. In a split second, something clicks deep inside. It feels like I have known it for a long time, but didn't believe it was true. One thing is certain, I can't resist this calling. I decide to follow the beguiling inner voice, not to continue the journey with my friends, to travel alone in Asia for the first time of my life, and to buy my first notebook in order to unburden my head of all the messages that I received since my return in Thailand. So, dear listener, at this stage of the book, I'd like, as promised, to ask you 5 questions to prepare you for the journey that will follow. So take a minute for yourself, open your notebook, and let's get started. You will of course find the full questions in the PDF below this audio. Question number 1. When did you find yourself wearing a mask to conform to society or to hide your past suffering? When did you find yourself wearing a mask in your life journey? Question number 2. When did you experience this feeling of unconscious anxiety, as if you haven't allowed yourself to express your emotions, anger, fears, sadnesses, or insecurities? When did you experience this feeling of unconscious anxiety? Question 3. When did you experience a fall? The end of a cycle where your world and your illusions crumble. When did you experience a fall? And question 4, when did you experience strong calls from your intuition, when you feel like you're waking up after years of conforming to society? Start free writing what your heart says to you about these 4 questions, and start free writing about how you feel regarding those 4 situations, life situations of yours. Take the time to put the words that speaks to you in your notebook, and slowly begin to feel that freedom and joy to express yourself authentically. This is just the beginning of our adventure, my friend. Get ready for takeoff now in the next chapter. I'm gonna share with you the chapter 1 in 2 weeks, and every new chapters every 2 weeks. I'm here available for you if you have questions regarding this introduction and these 4 questions. You can also click below this audio to book a free appointment with me online on Zoom to talk about all your projects of expressing yourself, expressing your truth, expressing your emotion, your messages, your story online, on your social media, and your marketing, in your relationships, or if you want to write your own book, feel free. We can meet each other over a coffee in Bangkok or virtual coffee on Zoom. Thank you for your courage, and I see you in chapter 1 very, very soon. Bye-bye.